Be the right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up live show presented by Titleist. Solly here, joined by my guys. Most of us back. He's back home, Mr. Neil Schuster. Hello, Neil.
Greetings, Solly. Good to be here. Trying out some new tech tonight. I like the way the graphics package looks on the intro. Cody, good stuff.
And calling is fresh off the golf course. He spent the day out at Pebble Beach. Was course there all week long as well. Mr. DJ Piehowski. Hello, Pie Man. How are you?
Hey guys, good to be with you. Yeah, great day walking around Pebble, watching some golf. Loving it, man. Loving it. Can't wait to talk about it.
We, of course, have a ton to discuss tonight. We're going to start out at Pebble. I promise all you new listeners out there, promise you, we've carved out plenty of time as well to talk about Anthony Kim's absolutely stunning, remarkable, unbelievable victory at Live Adelaide. We're going to talk a little bit about our week on site as well in Monterey. I'm getting word that TC may pop in as well, maybe go down the leaderboard a little bit. And I don't want to make any promises, but there might also be a new Fedora 5. And I might have already received word that AK might be in the new Fedora 5. I cannot promise that. Again, that's a rumor. That's the rumor going around town right now. So
stick with us. More to come.
Winners from around the world. Collin Morikawa wins the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. As mentioned, Anthony Kim wins Live Adelaide. Charley Hull wins the PIF Saudi Ladies International. Listen, now it's a great time of year to look for gaps in your golf gear and start stocking up for this season. There's not many things better or more important than a new pair of golf shoes. FootJoy has a bunch of new options this year, including some fresh limited edition drops, and we'll be talking about them probably pretty much all throughout the spring. One of those first intros this year is the new ProSL. It's been a staple on professional tours for about 10 years now, but the ProSL has been totally redesigned with inputs from tour players. FootJoy challenged everything about the ProSL that has led to several major enhancements. A wider toe box that delivers a better fit and more comfort for more players. A totally new outsole for better traction in all conditions, and an entirely new upper for flex where you want it and support where you need it. Sahit Tagala has actually been integral in testing and refining this shoe since he first tried the prototype in August of 2024. When he got the completed version last October, he said, "I've literally tried all the ProSL shoes since they came out, and these are definitely the best yet. They're going in play immediately." A golf shoe is an important part of your equipment, and only FootJoy thinks of them that way. It's why they're the number one shoe in golf and have been for 100 years. It's also why they should be the number one shoe for you. Check out the new ProSL and more at FootJoy.com. Neil, I'm going to throw it to you first. What's the biggest story of the day out here from Pebble Beach?
I mean, I don't think I can remember anyone getting iced that hard with the tournament on the line. That was true theater today. Starting, I mean, we'll get to Scotty. That was electric, and whiffs of Tiger dominance. Didn't get it done, obviously. Coming back from, was it 7 or 8 back? I can't remember where he started, but that kind of warmed me up. I watched like start to finish today, but the Bridgman situation, the blow-bys in the ocean, and I mean, Morikawa took the club, put it back 3 separate times, took a little walk over and just kind of made room for Wild Deej looking out at the Pacific. I was really impressed when he hit that 4-iron, and then refused to chip it. It was a great finish. It was just like kind of shout out Kyle Porter, like normal sports stuff. Like, yeah, we're just like, we don't know. He's going to go back and drop it by the bunker. So that was best finish of the year for me. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Neil. My hotel Wi-Fi might be a little spotty, so bear with me if I start to lag here, guys. But the whole scene this week, I remember standing on the 8th fairway a couple times, or really like down by the 9th green. I remember vividly watching Akshay putt yesterday, and just barrels of waves are just breaking behind him. I'm like, man, this is a crazy spot for a pro sporting event when you really get down and think about it. That's kind of how I felt when the Bridgman stuff started to unravel a little bit on 18 too. Just like, wow, this is true normal sports stuff. And everybody's standing on the green. Like nobody really, I think a lot of people missed the shot that he hit over on the left, and then he just disappeared. His bag is kind of sitting up by the cliff. And Jake Knapp and Hideki, I think were the other two guys playing with him, are just standing by the green. And there were some very pissy spectators, volunteers, just like, what are these two doing? What are they waiting for? You know, and while Bridgman's just, you know, his life's flashing before his eyes down there on the green. Oh my God, I got to go back to the spot I was just at. I'm sure all he wants is just to get the hell out of there. Just like, please let me get out of the way. But there's so much money on the line, points on the line, etc. God, and then he gets to the green and his ball won't stay still.
Oh my God. Yeah. On top of all that, he can't get his ball to stop.
It was electric stuff. All of that to bury the lead probably on Collin Morikawa going out and grabbing his first win in however long, 60 some events. The shot he hit into 16 was awesome after laying way back off the tee. Appreciated Dottie calling out that seemed like a little bit of a mishit off the tee potentially, because he was way the hell back there. But yeah, man, it was. I was trying to hear, you know, when Balionis came out onto the green, maybe a little bit of incoming perspective for Collin as well. Is that what he said?
He did announce that they are indeed expecting later this year. So yeah, very early dose of perspective for Mr. Morikawa. So just he started the day at 17 under par. Made 3 birdies and a bogey on the front 9, then birdied 11, 15, 16, and then made bogey on 17. It looked like he hit that ball in the ocean. He was lucky that ball, Trevor pointed out as well, he's lucky that ball got the bounce that it did and didn't go continue going left towards the ocean there. Made bogey there, but clutch tee shot on 18. I mean, we saw Sam Burns lay up off that tee with just being 2 back of the clubhouse lead at the time because that wind was whipping that hard off the left. And just watching like the true shot, I guess being able to like definitively say again, like Collin Morikawa is one of the best shot makers and ball hitters out there in the world. It just hasn't felt that way for quite some time. The putting's been a struggle and his ball striking hasn't been as premium as it was at his absolute peak, but he put a new putter in play. He actually lost strokes on the weak putting, but had a new putter in play that he borrowed from Kurt Kitayama. And led the field in strokes gained approach. He was like the second best ever approach round on Saturday afternoon. He gave almost 6.5 shots just on Saturday. And he's gaining a good opportunity for him to gain shots off the tee on golf courses like this, where it's not a bomber's paradise. But this is the kind of golf course that Morikawa should win on. I feel like the public in general has kind of just had an overall shift on Morikawa. I felt like he came onto the scene, was pretty easy to be a fan of him, and he hasn't done himself a lot of favors, I think, media-wise over the last couple of years. But what was the sentiment like, feeling like out there among the crowd? Could you feel them pulling for anyone in particular, and how did that relate with Morikawa?
It definitely, Scotty is the needle. I'm not breaking any news there. I know. I mean, everybody, you could feel it on the ground as soon as Scotty made a putt. I mean, you could feel exactly where he was on the golf course, and everybody's rooting for kind of a, Neil, you said it off the jump, but kind of a Tiger-esque statement. Oh my God, remember that was the day Scotty shot 61 and grabbed the tournament and won. I think everybody's rooting for that. And then plus with the eagle on 18, I think, you know, that was at the forefront of everybody's minds. A lot of Minwoo Lee fans out there, more than I would have thought. People, Minwoo, especially with the youths. Yeah, I think a lot of people were riding for Minwoo Lee. And then Collin, he was a couple groups back, so I followed Scotty for a lot of the day. So I didn't get a ton of, you know, following him all day and seeing how crowds were reacting to him. But when he got to 18 and, you know, he finishes it off, he's a known quantity. Everybody was excited. It was funny. I was coming back and kind of saw, you know, one of the, I won't out them, but one of the people who was working the tournament, you know, we're kind of talking about Collin. He's like, you know, it's been a crazy year. I was like, yeah, you know, interesting. Like, you know, hopefully start of a little comeback. He goes, yeah, you know, he didn't really help himself this past year. I was like, yeah, no, I trust me, man. I feel you on that. And I think that it's kind of like phase 3 almost, or chapter 3 of Collin's career. I feel like, where he came out, lit the world on fire, you know, kind of went through the darkness, the wilderness a little teeny bit over the last couple of years. And now it's like chapter 3, who knows? Does he reascend? Does he become one of those top 3 players in the world again? It's going to be interesting to find out.
Deej, your analogy of John Legend, Collin being John Legend, it resonates with me to this day, where it's like, yeah, I don't know, everybody's, you're going to see him on the Grammys, but I don't know if anyone's like calling out for, an encore there, right? It's just, but Solly, to your point, leads the field in strokes gained approach. And I think on 18 was a perfect example of like, if he's just slightly off there, he's chipping that ball, and you could tell he did not want to chip it. So I don't know. I don't know what this strokes gained around the green is, but he seems to have this issue of sneezing on chips, just kind of like, it's a thing. Kapalua had happened. It looked like it happened at Waste Management. And so if that ball's 2-3 feet right, I mean, I don't know. Are we getting that up and down? Like there was a lot of drama there. And so at least it was fun to see Collin overcome, after bogey in 17, you're kind of thinking like, and being iced. I'm like, oh my God, man, he's going to go to a playoff. There's no way he wins this playoff. Like Minwoo's over there warming up for like a whole bag. I mean, you see the divots he was taking on 2T. I mean, it's like unbelievable.
I think I guess I had a different one. To your point, if it goes a couple feet into the rough, do I think he's getting that up and down? At Pebble, I do. I think it
was a very easy spot too. I mean, it was just right, chipping straight up the hill. Like it was the perfect spot to leave it. I will say, Neil, I got a big kick out of his caddy. Is it Mark Urbanek, right?
Mark, yeah.
They were down on the ground doing like the full Camilo Villegas. Like, let me look at this lie. Is there anything that we're not seeing here? We really don't want to chip this thing. Like, let's just make sure we're dotting all of our I's, crossing all of our T's. Okay, here's the putter.
It was a little unbecoming to putt that one. You know what I mean? It's like that. Most pros would chip that, I think. But like, I feel you, brother. You know what I mean? Like that's. I understand why you're not chipping it.
It's so rare that I can actually do this, Neil. But for those listeners that maybe do not know, I actually played in the amateur portion of the Pro-Am this week, and I can like literally attest that it is very easy around the greens at Pebble. Like if there was, as soon as he hit that ball into that where he hit it, I was like, oh, well, this chipping or putting, this tournament's over. Like he's getting that up and down. Like,
well, I mean, just a shot in like. So I think it was 19-20 minutes they said on the broadcast, and he had laid back. He did hit 3-wood off that tee, and Trevor called that out. He was like, I think he should hit driver and go win this thing, but he hit a great 3-wood. I think 223 in. But so from Jake Knapp chips in, and there was this like spot of sunshine. It was like, whoa, the sun came out, and then all this stuff happens with Bridgman, and all of a sudden like the flag, and he can't even get his ball to stay. Like, I mean, shout out to Collin for getting it done. Like, what a shot. All 3 of those guys hit. Well, I guess Akshay didn't, but Sepp Straka hit a beautiful shot in there too.
The Bridgman stuff was funny too, because for the bulk of it, I mean, like you said, it took like 20 minutes, but for the bulk of it, the wind had died. So it almost was like if it had finished normally and normal pace, like I do think that shot that Collin had into 18 would have been a little bit easier. But it took forever, and then the wind started to pick back up. I was like, man, this is tough. That's a tough draw.
We got a problem here, Dottie. Nance killed me with that one. It's like, oh, are they gonna finish? Oh no. But Collin stepping up and hitting that shot as fast as he did when it was his turn, it legitimately looked like no sweat for him. Like that was kind of like I don't want to, have that one shot weigh too heavily in my brain of like, is this guy back? It was like, dude, that guy was extremely confident in executing. It felt very routine. It did not feel like he hit a miracle shot in there, and that was a very good golf shot.
I will say, though, I know yesterday he had like an all-time round, hit all 18 greens and just balled out. But today he felt a little shaky. I think 14, 15 he airmailed the green, which a lot of guys are 13 and 15. It seemed like everybody was going over both those greens. But he didn't seem as dialed today, Solly. So when he made that bogey on 17, I was like, this doesn't feel good for LBC. I don't like this.
That's what I was gonna say. We got to talk about 17, Solly. That's the swing that's gonna live in my brain. Is like, yo, we are not all the way back. Chapter 3 just started a little more interesting here. He got it across the line, but I'm like, ooh, if you ask me, what are the shots from Collin that you're really, really gonna remember today? I'm like, that unbelievable iron shot into 16 where you got to like ride that wind. We know he hits a fade. We know that's going to be left to right. He's got to judge that perfectly to that back pin, not overspin it, all of that stuff. That was a cool pin back there on 16. But then just Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde on 17, one-handed finish, yank left, like that was good theater. And to your point, Sal, I know we were talking on Slack. I don't want to take your take, but I mean that ball needs to be in the water, man. What are we doing on 17? Like that, if that ball
Rory
in the
too.
water,
Rory
like, no
should have hit
ball's
his in
going
the water. Like there were like 3 or 4 guys. All these guys hate the kids. Can't make birdie on 17. It's unbelievable. But Sal, you're
Sepp,
spot on.
The great man Sepp likes the kids. He's willing to throw up some birdies for students.
Sepp Straka, I like totally lost track of Sepp Straka, and please don't fault me for that. He birdies 14, birdies 16, birdies 17, eagles 18 to end up one shot out of the playoff.
Solly, the Beluga lost track of Sepp as well. So
there will be a full Beluga breakdown of the big board. How do you feel like you did? Just gut checking before we get to that part. How do you feel like you did this year?
Better than year 1 and 2. Some real bright spots, guys. Some real good stuff at the bottom of the leaderboard. Some definite Shane Lowry situations up top, but we'll get there. I don't want to spoil that.
There were 44 total birdies on 17 this week, which is a lot of cash for the kids. Birdies for students, of course, provided by AT&T there. But
does that count yours?
That is a great question. It does count mine. I'm getting word in my ear that it does count mine as well.
Dude.
So
congratulations.
Scotty thing, man, it's insane. I mean, he was 25 holes into this tournament. He was even par, and he finished at 20 under par. He played the par 5s and 7 under today. He made 3 bogeys and shot 63 in the wind at Pebble.
3 short misses too. Just
he
like
missed a
really
short birdie
putts
as well on 4. But I mean, he did make a bunch of bombs today. Like despite the short misses, he was number 1 in the field in putting this on the day.
151 feet of putts made. Solly. Amanda shouted that out at the end of the round. So I'll let Randy know, even though he's on paternity leave. I'll be sure to share that with him after this.
The Scotty thing was awesome. I picked him up on 5 today just because it was, it's the ultimate, like, what are you going to go not watch Scotty after he starts, 4 under through 3? Like, what if, I'm here, I better go check it out. He made a long par save on 5, and then the eagle he made on 6. I mean, that was just like the best. I think that was 3-wood that he hit in there. Just an awesome, never left the flag. Of course, he was making that putt. And then 7, he hits a little floaty one in there, makes a birdie there to get to 18 under, I think. And then when he made bogey at 8, I was like, that's bridge too far. Like these other guys are bunched. And I mean, it was the perfect storm of, Akshay just gave one back. Bridgman just gave one back. And, it was the hope was alive for a very, very, very long time until he started, like I was saying earlier, I mean, he just started going at all the flags, trying to just make everything, and kind of got caught with his hand in the cookie jar a little bit on 13, and then on 15, same thing, kind of right over the flag stick into nasty spots, and couldn't get a couple of those up and down. So ended up a couple short, but I talked to him afterwards a little bit in the media area, not a ton of media. So it was kind of just a very small scrum, me and him and Chupak. But
Scotty,
kind of,
hey.
Yeah, kind of asking him like, hey man, like, can you explain it? Like what's going on? Like on Thursday, basically like you've played so much good golf over the last 4 years. What does Thursday feel like to you? When you're just seemingly like totally off. He's like, honestly, it was weird because I wasn't off. Like, I know that you probably don't believe me, but like, I didn't do anything different. I didn't go practice. Nothing clicked. He's like, I just wasn't scoring. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just pro golf, man. And some days you just wake up and you make everything. And some days you get the bounces. And some days he's like, I don't know what to tell you. It just was like a weird freak storm. So for anybody, who thought that was the end of the road for Scotty, Solly, I know you were on that block personally, but for anyone who thought that was the end of the road, I don't know. I think good golf is going to continue for the foreseeable future.
Well, the thing is though, he was real pissed off on Thursday too. So that's the part that makes you think like it's not clicking or it's something with his swing, which would not to say that's the follow-up question I'd have. I'd be like, man, you get really hot under the collar though. Like when it's like, if you say you didn't feel like you were off, it's like, well, you were really pissed. So that's interesting.
I think Thursday at Phoenix was a different story. He talked about that a little bit too, where he was like, no, that was off at Phoenix. And I went to the range and I had to grind and figure something out to get it back on the rails. I think this week the frustration was like, why am I not scoring better? I'm doing all the things. I'm doing exactly what I'm trying to do for the most part. And so I can see that being almost more frustrating at times. If your body's not feeling great, or you got the club face open, or like whatever, I can see that being like, well, I'll get it back eventually. But when you're just like, I'm fucking doing everything I'm supposed to do. Why am I not making birdies? Why am I 10 down? I'm 10 behind, the star boy after Thursday is like, I could see that being frustrating.
Back to Morikawa for a second, then we'll talk about Minwoo Lee here. But one thing of note, ball speed noticeably up. I believe he touched 176, 177 at some point today, and I think his average, I forget who had this had the tweet. Cody might have it here, but had his ball speed's up like a mile and a half or 2 miles an hour on average so far. Just monitoring the situation there. I think we're going to say that about a lot of people over the course of the coming year. This is from Byron Linduke. I hope I have that right. He said he averaged 171.5 last year. He's up to 172.7 this year so far. That's a mile and a half faster, almost. Tough math there, actually, Byron. Sorry. And but this is like the early part of the year before it gets too warm and guys can free up a little bit and swing the club a little bit faster. At least that's how I envision it in my head. So monitoring the situation.
Maniac. I like that. I like that Twitter handle.
Monitoring situation there. Maniac. What are you guys gonna do? What does this win do from Morikawa to project out the remainder of this year for him? Is it fair to declare him back? What is back for Morikawa? Neil, you first. Like what does this change your outlook for him for the remainder of the season?
Well, we've known that like the talent is there. We felt that way at Bay Hill. Like he's got, like you said, he's a premier shot maker. I want to say the 4-iron after getting iced into 18 was like, okay, cool. Like he can do it. But to DJ's point, like some squirrely stuff on 17, some squirrely stuff just down the stretch. Like at no point until he hit that shot did I think he had this tournament locked down. So like, I don't know. I don't want to be unfair. Like, he's not my favorite player. I don't want to like be a dick, but I'm like, I don't feel great. It's like, oh, and then like, okay, I'm going to putt this one. It just kind of feels like we're, so now I'm talking about Band-Aid wins.
That makes sense. There's some kind of Band-Aid wins. Somebody can have a kind of not fluky win, but a win that doesn't necessarily predict. No. I know that's not what you're saying. It's clear
that he's like a premier ball striker, strokes gained approach. That is your ticket on the PGA Tour. It's always been that way, but it doesn't. If that's off, if he's not number one in strokes gained, then it's a concern, right? Like the putting can be shaky, the chipping. Who knows when he's going to sneeze next? You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't feel like he's went out and was like, the Terminator or anything like that. But it's a good quality win. I said it on our live shows this week. I do feel like Pebble is a resume course. Like, Collin, put it on your resume. You won at Pebble Beach. I think that's a big deal. Like when you look back at your career, like that's a really good win. And he did it in the conditions did roll in and the course played a lot harder down the stretch and he got it done. So I give him a ton of credit, but I don't know if I'm like, oh, he's unstoppable at Augusta this year. Like that doesn't make me feel like, oh, major's we're on the doorstep of a major win. I don't feel that way.
He does have a lot to overcome, to your point of not hitting it far and not being a great putter is a lot to overcome. And you have to hit it like near perfect with the irons.
Yeah, you got to throw darts, man. And like all week until today, that was an easy course to throw darts on. Soft greens, no wind. Like, I was out on the bag for you. Like Russell Henley and Mav on Thursday made it look really easy, really boring and really easy. And so, yeah, I don't feel good if we get off schedule with his offensive scheme. I don't feel great about it.
Deej?
It's interesting. I'm in the same boat, Neil, where I'm, I'll hedge a little bit. Sully, this is gonna be one of your no sitting on the fence. They have these little signs everywhere at Pebble that says no sitting on the fence. So like, we need to get that for the live show because that's how I feel occasionally. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what it's going to lead to. I'll say confidence usually begets confidence, right? He's been trying to get over the hump for a while. He's knocking on the door for a while, and so hopefully this keeps him playing good. Because what I was going to say is it is interesting when he's up there. He's a name, like I said, kind of going back to the grandstands, the calls you hear coming out, like people know him, people want to watch him. And I think Scotty needs some foes that make some of these Sundays a little bit more interesting, right? I mean, I think that he's a kind of guy that, like, if you see him and Scotty going toe to toe, I think you feel something, Neil, even if he's like, even or especially if he's not your favorite guy, right?
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I think he did a little, took some PR steps backwards last year. And I think there's a decent amount of people who are like, man, I don't want to see that guy win. And I think that makes Sundays more interesting, right? And I think there's a lot of people on the other side too. There are a lot of Morikawa fans too. And he's got a great resume for someone his age. So I don't know. I'm again, that's a big old fence sit for me. I guess we'll see, but I'm excited to see what happens.
I guess last thing I'll say, the only asterisk I would say is that, yes, Scotty didn't get off the bus on Thursday. They all barely made it out of the Riptide with Aquaman. You know what I mean? It was like, whoa, like red flags are out. He almost swept that whole freaking leaderboard out to sea, and they decided to swim out sideways, and they got away from it. Like,
you know what?
I mean,
Neil,
seriously, like he's Scotty's. I don't feel like Colin's like
gonna stare down like Scotty.
One of the last like 4 groups today. I don't think Colin's winning.
That was the last thing Scotty said in scoring was like, hey, do you know why everybody keeps calling me Aquaman? I was like, I don't know. I gotta talk to.
There's no way you said that.
He did not say that.
No, oh God, you had me for a second, brother. A lot of people are saying it. Many people. Ocean,
Aquaman,
water,
Aquaman. Let me get that glove.
Water world. Oh,
I'm gonna. Yeah, my Morikawa assessment is not very different from what you guys are saying. I'll say this though: he's had 1 top 10 since the Players last year, and that was at the Rocket Classic. Like it's been a pretty hard fall off. Like I think we're gonna see him around a whole heck of a lot more. I don't necessarily think this is like return to major championship form. Morikawa, I don't think he's fully out of the woods, but I think he's going to be a top 25 machine again. I think he's at least figured something out to return to that level of player where the floor is really, really, really high. And when he putts decent, he will be in the top 10 and top 5 and may win another tournament as well this year. But we may have gotten a little excited with him and Scotty has changed the game of what a top level player looks like. But I think we're going to turn the page and leave this era behind of like being just a complete shell of himself. But we got a lot still more to talk about. I want to just give a big shout out to everybody at AT&T and the Pebble Beach Pro-Am team for hosting us all week. It's one of the most fun weeks of the year. They do an amazing job of setting us up for success and helping us arrange guests and setting us up with great space to do our shows. We did 2 live shows this past week, Wednesday and Thursday from out on site. Shot a video on site with Jordan Spieth. We've got a ton of content on our YouTube channel if you haven't checked that out already. And it's just a real true treat. So big thank you to them. Connectivity is truly the bridge to possibility, improving the way we move through our daily lives. AT&T creates connections to what people need to thrive in their everyday lives, connections to friends, family, work, commerce, education, health, entertainment, and more. For 150 years, connecting people has been AT&T's calling. To find out more, head to att.com. AT&T, connecting changes everything.
So I got a couple questions for you.
Please.
Things I've been curious about. What was the best shot that you hit on Thursday at Pebble?
Best shot I hit Thursday at Pebble. What do you think it was? I hit a bunch of like just okay shots. I was not a very good Pro-Am partner. I did not play poorly. I just did not do much spectacular. And it was very hard. So I played off 0 for this. And I asked for your opinion on this. The tees were pretty far back. Like could have a conversation with Mav and Russ from the tees we were playing, and I'm, not getting any pops on my pro. Like it was hard to contribute.
Yeah, but you're also hitting it as far as Russell Henley.
True, but still, I don't hit it as good as he does.
It's awesome. I would say I have 2 for you. Go ahead, Dee.
He was behind the 18th green today, just watching the pros finish, which first of all is always a great vibe when the pros duck back out under the tunnel just to watch the tournament end. I love that. But I was asking him, I was like, any lasting takeaways you've been stewing about for Solly, in his game that I need to bring up on the podcast? He's like, honestly, like he just played solid. I don't know what to. He's like, he's playing as a 0. He's got absolutely no chance of winning. Like the format's just brutal for him. But he just played good. So yeah, no big takeaways either. It was just solid golf.
Really good all day, solid. Look, you passed the eye test of like, oh yeah, that guy's got game. I would say 2 shots come to mind. Your approach on our first hole of the day on number 10, you had 173 back into the wind. First hole can get a little nervy. You got the Pacific Ocean on your right. That's not like a super easy or an inviting green to hit. And I thought you just hit like a really good, thoughtful, elegant 7-iron in there. And you had like 40 feet, but I was like, that's exactly what we need to do to start the day off. We don't have to chip. And you had a great lag putt right after that. I was like, oh, this is great. Just a comfy ass 4 at the first hole. The second one, you took a drop, a very, very legal and very cool drop from a embedded ball off your tee shot on number 6. You drop that, everything above board, and you hit an awesome recovery shot. I think a 6-iron up into the middle of the fairway. Had like, I think 47 yards in from there. Now my second question for you is what was the most nervous you were out there?
I don't feel like I got nervous out there as Cody flashes a photo of me hooking it.
That was the tee shot on 13.
Yeah. After 12, DJ's like, this is going too smoothly. Like, you got to mess some stuff up.
So pretty boring.
Of course, that's might've been my best shot. Was over from like almost in the bunker on 10, hitting that up on the green on 13. But I rolled in a nice birdie on 7, which I didn't think we needed because Mav was in tight and he was birdieing every hole in sight at that point of the round. And then he ended up missing that shorty there. So that was my positive contribution I made there. But most nervous was probably when we got to like 17. It was just kind of the first moment where I was like, ooh, there are a few more extra people around.
Which was our 8th hole. So like kind of, main event here.
Yeah, just a couple extra people there, and I ended up hitting a little scrapey 7-iron up to the French there that Deej was harassing me about.
I thought,
Solly, what were your takeaways about the golf course? I mean, you rarely get to play the actual PGA Tour event the week of the PGA Tour event, actually the same time as the PGA Tour event. What'd you learn about Pebble this week when you play it?
It was I feel like I understand pro golf better. Definitely. I mean, I've walked a ton of professional golf tournaments very up close, and it is a different, it hits a different sense when you're actually playing the course right alongside them. And it's a different tee, like from the tee on, obviously you're just playing the same exact golf course. And Neil, I don't know if you had this takeaway, but I was flustered by the calculations that would go into the shots and my inability to commit with confidence to clubs. I mean, I'm playing at a cooler temperature than I've been used to playing, just a different atmosphere, a wind that plays heavier and up and down elevation on grass I'm not that familiar with. And I would get in between clubs and really struggle to hit a ball. Like, if it's 163 and I was holding 7-iron, it was like, I got to hit this easy. And then I would come up way short with it because it's just like, 7-iron's bound to go long of this one. And I know they're professional golfers, and I know they do this for a living every single week. But the speed and confidence at which they make decisions, I know at times it can look very slow pro golf on TV and the time they take in the fairway to figure stuff out. The speed and precision they have of making the calculations with their caddy and hitting a shot with confidence and landing it within a 2-yard buffer either side of the flag on an extremely consistent basis, like, blew my mind. I've played with a lot of really good players, but to watch Mav and Russell do that up close and personal, and also their putting touch for mid-range, shocker. Pro golfers are really good. Not a great takeaway, but this stuck with me of especially when Russ got to within 20 feet of a hole. I'm like, this is probably going in. And then it looked like they played an amazing round of golf, and we walk off the course and it's like, yeah, those guys were just a little better than field average here today. It's mind bending, to try to hit the shots right next to them in easy conditions. Like that Pebble doesn't play much easier than that. I found them to be hard conditions for me, and they just made that golf course look like a total cinch. I mean, Mav shot 67 and it felt like he struggled for 60% of the day. And it was an absolute treat to get to see it that up close and personal, and just the just honing missiles they send at pins. It's insane.
Yeah, I'd say the way they evaluate stuff around the greens too, like the lie, they read the lie, as Russ would say, Deej. Like they, ball where they put it in their stance. It's like 301. It's PhD stuff and they're doing that, like you said, Solly. They're not quick with the reading of putts.
No,
very deliberate with the putts, but they do with their caddy get the number and the club very quickly, and then they kind of take their time behind the ball, practice swing the whole routine. But the choice of what I'm going to do is actually decided pretty quickly. That's a good call out.
Well, and the margin on putts is extremely thin, and the amount of things you got to consider when playing greens like that, there's so much memory that goes into them. Mav had a great tip of look to, there's going to be a lot going on with like, broad macro slopes and the micro slopes here, but like look to the water to level your eyes and see like what the actual land is doing right in front of you. Cause you take a lap on a putt at Pebble and you're like, this is downhill. You take a lap and you're like, oh, actually this is uphill. I had no idea. And I only called in Mav for a few reads, and I wish I'd have called him in for more because I had no shot reading those greens. And he could look at something and process 5 different things so quickly and just like tell me exactly where to aim. And he was spot on every time. There was not one putt that was like, oh, Mav totally misread that one, and I didn't even sniff the hole. Maybe one spot.
I had a few things written down for observations. Like obviously you know, these guys are so good from 10 feet and in, like par, birdie, they just expect to make those. And that's just fun to watch. I think that off the tee for mere mortals or for me, I feel like Pebble is actually more intriguing off the tee than it gets credit for. 1 and 2, throw those away, but 3 is intriguing. Like picking a line on 3, picking a line on 4, if you want to send it up there. I think 6 is really interesting. Like we were between clubs on 6, Solly, from the, 1 tee up. It's like, I don't know if it's driver here. It's, but it's a par 5. So that's in your head. And then you've got 8 because it's blind. You got to be very decisive. They require attention on targets because of blind shots on 8, 9, and 10 are both like, I think, stressful tee shots because of those runouts. The ball disappears down to the right and you run out of room. And then 11 up the hill, that fairway is kind of weird. And then 14, 16, and 18. I think all of those are like, you better be decisive about, off the tee. I don't think it's boring off the tee out there. And I think from the aerial cameras watching it on TV, I've always thought like, oh yeah, these aren't, like 8 fairway looks really wide, but like from down in that gully on that tee, you're like, I don't know. Is it that house or is it that $70 million house? Like you tell me. It's, so I'm sure if you play it a few times, that's a little bit less engaging, but that jumped out to me caddying.
I think the only thing I'd add to that too, Neil, is like the difference in playing it at different times of year. Like it is, all of those things are true, but also the fairways seem pretty soft, right? And you're not going to have to worry about a ton of runouts. Whereas if you came here at a different time of year, when they come here for the U.S. Open in a couple years or next year, I guess, like you look for that stuff to be a little firmer, and it just takes everything you're saying, to an even bigger factor. And then you move on beyond that, and it's like what really struck me was just how many 3-footers are outside the hole. You get some of these like big tiny greens that are massively pitched. Like number 1 was the one that stuck out to me this time. That high right shoulder, like that back right to front left slope is just massive, so much bigger than it looks on TV for such a small green. Number 8, that little kind of pimple that's on the right side in the middle of that 8th green was giving guys fits all day yesterday as they're trying to get to that back right pin. There's more going on than meets the eye for sure, which makes it fun. You just kind of match it up with the right conditions.
A lot to improve too. Like, Sally, you've called it out already. Like 17, like I'd love to get the Pacific Ocean a little more involved at 17. Great view, like there's energy at 17, but it could be a better golf hole. And then it kind of, I haven't stopped thinking about it. We were standing on 11 green, which is our second hole of the day, and we were waiting for somebody to putt. And Sally just like, tapped me on the arm. He's like, hey, look down that fairway. Like, how sick would it be if this hole played the opposite direction? And it's just like straight out. Like you basically it's like you're looking out at Tahiti down the hill. And that stuck with me.
It's hard because you come to Pebble Beach, you get out on those holes by the ocean. There's so much incredible stuff that hits you. There's so many great views. It's an awesome, awesome walk. It's an awesome, incredible experience. Yet you are quite frequently left with just this little bit of desire, this little bit of like, it could be better. It could be better. But then you're a bad guy if you constantly bring up how the golf course could be better. But I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I guess let me qualify a lot of this. Like Pebble Beach, why is it that way? We've lost Neil for a second. We're hoping to get him back. But why is it that way? Pebble Beach is a resort course. It is designed to get, the number we heard, I think, was 65,000 rounds over the course of a year. If you're unfamiliar with that, that's a lot. If you're not familiar with how many rounds of golf that is. So the golf course needs to be designed to withstand that level of play. And for the amount of play it gets, it's in incredible shape. Like you fix a ball mark on that greens and you can't even tell where your ball just hit. There's so much green grass. It just not looked like just trudged over, day after day after day. So, hey, renovating the golf course to fit what, to fit the pro game is kind of more of what I would be talking about, is somewhat unrealistic. They kind of renovate one green at a time, one hole at a time. And their philosophy for the entire golf course just runs counter to hosting big golf tournaments. And especially this time of year, you're just going to get soft, wet conditions. So you're going to end up with dart fest, low scores, and, a little bit of a lack of intrigue around some of the shots because the slopes don't come to life when balls are landing that softly. I'll say this, though, and this was a surprise to me playing it up close and personal, that I'm not playing the Gasparilla this coming week. Ben is going to be playing. We're going to be filming. We're going to have a video. We're going to be bringing you the content. But I would definitively say, like, around the greens, the Gasparilla plays harder than a PGA Tour event does. Like not even close in terms of where they put the pins, how fast they get it, how hard the chips are. Granted, that's Bermuda and the grass is different, but like the whole challenge of like trying to get close to the green, close to the pins from those greens is harder in a mid-am event than it is on the PGA Tour. And that feels really backwards to me, Deej. It really does. There were so many times I did not even play well this week, but had like greenside chips from rough that I could grab a 58 from the fairway, walk right up to it, and just hit like a little flop onto the collar, and it went right next to the hole for a gimme. And I'm struggling with my short game, and it was very easy for me. And I have a problem with that. And I think that is something that can continue to improve at Pebble Beach. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. There's still some spots to miss. I mean, we mentioned it before. Scotty was on 15. He's above the hole. He flew it past, and he's just when you get in the bad spots, you are chipping downhill, downwind. It can get a little nasty. But yeah, without the short grass, firm conditions, you're not really losing a lot of chips out there, or kind of like, oh my gosh, that's a horrible spot where he's never going to recover. It can.
You don't get punished for missing is the bigger part, right?
Yeah.
And again, work back like the reason why the golf course is the way it is and why they play at this time of year. Like, this is when the West Coast swing is, and like maybe it won't be that way forever. Like maybe Pebble Beach will become part of the playoff swing, and we'll see it in a different condition, and different parts of it will come to life. Maybe there's equipment changes in the future that make it play differently, but the combination of how they set up that golf course when they play it and the current equipment deprives us of the greatness of what Pebble Beach can be. Is it still great, and is it still an incredible experience? Deej, we talked about this while you're out there. You've been there how many times and never played the golf course, which is a little bit of a crime, but it's one of the golf courses I would say, like, playing this, like 95% of the experience is just being there. I mean, playing the golf shots is incredibly fun as well, but like, you can't say that about every golf course. You can just visit it and get most of the experience, but I would say that about Pebble Beach.
No, I totally agree, and that's I think that's spot on. A lot of why you're out there is to see how big the hill on 6 is, and to go watch guys try to flight balls down in the wind on 7, and to see where the run out is on 8, and all of that stuff. So it's I bet this is probably the 30th time I've walked the golf course today without ever having played it. I did get to hit a shot on 7 thanks to my pro on Wednesday when I was caddying during the practice round. Solly, that was very benevolent of you. But maybe I'll piece together the other 17 holes someday. Neil, welcome back, man.
Gentlemen, sorry. Like I said at the top, we're experimenting some new tech. It just decided not to work, but we're back. We're changing cams. So thanks for having me on your show.
Sure.
Neil, so before we move off this, anything else you garnered from your time inside the ropes caddying, Neil, that really stuck with you?
I think the walk up 6 is I was huffing and puffing. That's a big ass hill, but 6 and 8, what weird places to put golf holes. They're both so like awkward. I don't know. I just, if I was designing a course, I would have made 2 very different holes there. And I'm glad they didn't, because they're so unique and they're almost the inverse of each other. Like, one's up with, kind of over a chasm, not quite the one on 6, not quite 8, but those holes everyone talks about those holes, so I'm not breaking any new ground here, but just like walking up and down them, you're like, man, these are just like really awkward and unique and interesting golf holes. As far as if you're routing a golf course, I'm not sure that's the par 5 and the par 4 I would have put there, but I'm very glad they did. So I don't know if that's I don't know. They're just 6 and 8. They're sticking with me. Not breaking any new ground there.
If we have these, Cody, I did back on the Pebble note, I did do like a really quick. So first off, Joel Stewart, a guy on Instagram, did a post a couple weeks ago just about like an idea for renovation, right? We talk a lot about, bringing Pebble to life with a little extra flair. He had a great post of just like, here's what if you're watching this here on YouTube, here's what the 12th hole looks like up above. Take the trees out and bring the view of the ocean back into play, which again seems obvious and makes sense. And putting a little bit of a Redan feature on that green, just how much stronger that hole looks. And I did this in ChatGPT in 2 seconds of just like, take the 4th hole and kind of add a little bit more texture to it. Like this is what the 4th hole looks like now, kind of the circular green, bunker set back from the green a little rough collar in there, and just not a lot of texture to it. And just like, all right, shape the green a little bit differently, add a little bit of layer of some longer grass around the green, around this, and some thick grass around behind it. Do you have that image, Cody, by chance? There it is. And just add just some flair to it instead of just looking at a lot of green grass everywhere. This doesn't change that much strategy on it, but it brings the bunkers just a little bit closer to the edge of that. And, again, I could do this in a lot more detail if I had more time to do it and threw out a lot of holes on it. Like it wouldn't take a lot to really bring a lot of Pebble Beach's features to life, because there's so much good there. There's so much slope in these greens. Like this green in particular, like could be a really, really, really good hole, but it just should be a little bit more penal for the misses on this one because it's such a short hole. So those are two quick examples.
Oh, that's just some aesthetic stuff. Like when you do get the sun out there, it almost looks like a simulation in the afternoon when the sun's coming over the Pacific. To have some heather grass or some different contrast would probably make a big difference. It would improve the place for sure.
Yeah.
I did get to watch Rory make a triple on number 4. He did not think that it was too easy. That may have. What did he finish? What, 4 back, 3 back? After 64 today.
He finished at 17 under, 5 back of Collin.
5 back. Okay.
Yeah. And he had
that
a couple
was
doubles over at Spyglass too.
That was surreal. Just chunk chips and blue one in the ocean. It was you don't get to see that every day. But anywho.
Guys, I want to give a shout out to our friends at SoFi, the ultimate finance app, for sponsoring a new segment here. That is the Down the Leaderboard segment with, I'm just getting word we have him waiting in the wings, Mr. TC. Go to SoFi.com/NLU to learn more about how you can get your money right with SoFi Plus. Let's go down the board. Mr. TC, where are you and how are you? And let the world hear your voice.
Gentlemen, I am in Montana. Not a lot of snow here right now, but hopefully it gets a little bit of snow coming the next few days. And my family is stuck in Jacksonville, so I've got a free roll tonight here. But I thought you guys were way too easy on Pebble. So like the stuff we were saying about 15 or hey, listen, great golf course from 3 through 10.
Awesome. I believe this is the Down the Leaderboard segment for Mr. TC. Yeah. If we
awesome.
could go down the leaderboard.
We'll go back to that stuff. Minwoo T2, disgusting stuff yesterday on Saturday evening. Just in the conditions. Where are the adults? Where are the parents? We need to do better than that. He should not have been T2.
What did he do?
Penalized for that.
Yeah, do you want to go into details?
Please
he just refused to hit his shots, and then he ended up hitting one off the path and wouldn't play because he felt like the conditions weren't right. It was outrageous. It took him half an hour to play one hole. Half an hour. Crazy. Sepp, Neil, I assume I will table the Sepp discussion until we get to the Beluga big board.
Sure.
Because he really gave it to you.
The model just wasn't spitting out Sepp this week, but he might be the honorary Shane Lowry of the week. You got the best of me.
Scotty, I believe we were walking around on Thursday after Scotty, put up a clunker on Thursday and said, yeah, like he's still going to finish top 5 though. Sure enough, T4 after the 3 eagles today, and 63 with 3 bogeys is just remarkable. The great man Tommy.
18 top 10s in a row now. Is that where we're
at? Stay tuned. We do have a new Fedora 5 that we'll be rolling out after this as well. So backdoor top 5 from Tommy. We love that. 67, 68,
never
67,
really
66. Yeah, but he didn't put up a stinker either. He just kind of, and he looks great doing it. He's got no sponsorships right now. He's logoless, or he's got plenty of logos on him. He's just not getting paid for him right now. He looks great. Like, if people thought that Tommy could be any more likable and any more popular, it is possible, because he's going to look better now that he's freed up from the Nike stuff.
Just beating up the Pebble Beach Pro Shop this week, huh?
Yeah. Sam Burns, I believe we might have a new Tanimal. He wore that tan sweater pretty much every day this week, and played pretty good golf. 72 in round 3, T6. Akshay, I think he's definitely anchoring.
Come on.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Akshay's actively cheating with 85 cameras on him while he's playing professional golf, TC. I do not
CVS
think so.
refuses to show him from the side angle when he's on the greens. They cut away from that angle real quick.
Wow, do your own research out there, people. I need somebody next tournament. They need to evaluate how many side angles we get. See if TC's right about this. Is that coming from the inside the moat? They're piping that in.
Anyway, hits it soon. We'll get there. Yeah. Lowry, solid week, T8. Nico Echeverria, Neil, another one. I will let you take that on the big board. Jake Knapp, we were glazing him a little bit earlier this week, and he certainly stepped up to the plate. Jacob Bridgman, I think you guys talked about that from 18 earlier.
Beluga talked
about him. TC, can I say one thing on Jacob Bridgman? Because there's a lot of, I'm sure this was a lot on the, people watching at home, a lot of like, who the hell is Jacob Bridgman type stuff. First of all, must credit No Laying Up live show. We were shouting him out a big time on Wednesday as a player to watch. But he's kind of a victim of the signature event model, the more I thought about it. He had a good year last year, got into the signature events, and now is like, he doesn't have, it's a bit of the big tone. He's playing too many good events, Solly, but he doesn't have a great platform to go out and win some lesser events for people to be like, oh, he's an up and coming player. He's just up and coming already. He's already there. And so now he seems like a nobody when he's there. And he's kind of like, do you get what I'm saying? It's kind of a weird spot where he can't really like prove himself in the minors because he's already in the majors. And then when he goes to win, everybody's like, this guy, who's this guy? I've never heard of this guy. He must suck. It's like, it's just a weird cutting both ways.
The shoes aren't helping.
And he wears the blow-bys.
The shoes.
He does.
The shoes with the
but listen, he's good. He's a good player, and I refuse to, consider him anonymous any further.
God, I would love to clip the tape of when I rolled out that theory about Big Tone just to see what your response to that would have been. I appreciate you coming around on that and admitting defeat on that one, DJ. That means a lot.
Big Tone had been a pro for like 14 years by that point. Yeah,
I was going to say.
What did he do right after that? He won like 5 times. Thank you. Please continue to cook, TC.
Hideki, I'm impressed. Hideki, 367s and a 69 after he looked like he had completely lost his swing there down the stretch at Waste Management. Rory, you guys discussed that earlier. Final round 64. Pat the Hammer Cantlay finishes T14 after a dub. We'll get there in the Fedora 5. Tom Hoagie, Neil.
Listen,
kind of throwing you off the scent a little bit.
No, but I think in the Beluga's big board, I think I hit Hoagie spot on or just about. So we're gonna fly the banner on that one, TC.
Big Tone, 18th. Russ Henley, Alex Smalley, Brian Harmon. Listen, the one that I want to call out from this T19 group, Ricky Fowler. I thought we were going to see a win from Ricky this week after the 66-64 to start in the benign conditions. 73-70 on the weekend. That's not going to get it done, and disappointed in that. So
I watched him quite a bit yesterday. TC, he was out of sorts, man. That 73 was tough. I don't know if he was potentially blinded by the lights, play with your guy, the Star Boy, but it was just not good golf from
We
him on Saturday.
got to explain. Ryo Hisatsune he's trying to glaze him the weekend. DJ
No, Brian Allane on Twitter. Great on X, the Everything app. Great nickname. And then Sully, he said that he's going to counseling now because you made fun of them.
Well, I just said it sounded like a Ravel nickname. I will say the Star. Now calling him the Star Boy is
Star Boy's good
funnier.
stuff.
What else we got? We got Lynx Master Jord limped home this weekend. Mav 63-73 on the weekend.
Jordan was
Heated
like
up.
in it like through like 7 holes
Yeah.
today. What the hell happened after that?
Crazy. Team Rose T37 can't be having that. Ludwig
All right,
heating up a little bit.
That's halfway down the
66,
board.
67.
It's an 80
And
person
then
field.
Ryan Gerard T45. I need to see more. Ryan Gerard and Novak both down in the latter half of the field. So hate it. That's your down the leaderboard though, gents.
Deej, we got to get the gif of the weekend in the mirrors at the Super Bowl halftime show. If like he's popping off on the weekend, just in the Hall of Mirrors. We need to get that dialed up, ready to go.
I know.
A lot of people,
hundreds of thousands of people out there called him the weekend. It's crazy.
a lot of people in there got their money right. You can go to SoFi.com/NLU to learn more about how you can get your money right with SoFi Plus. Do we have the white smoke? Is the Fedora 5 going to be a new thing every week? Like, are you just going to kind of declare when there's time for a Fedora 5? Are we getting one tonight? The people are dying to know for an update for the
We
Fedora
are getting
5.
one tonight. Typically I wouldn't do one when there's not a bunch of whoa, it's the conclave. Typically we wouldn't get one if there's not a DP World Tour event and a Corn Ferry Tour event and everything. But I think enough happened this week where we can get a Fedora 5. Sully, I also do want to say I'd never stepped foot at Spyglass before. I'd seen it on TV, seen a lot of pictures. Like, whatever you said about Pebble being built for a bunch of resort guests or being set up and just manicured for a bunch of resort guests, I don't know what Spyglass is for then, because that place, it's a fucking slog. I mean, really cool first 6 holes. And there's some cool things there, but I felt like I was at Greenville Country Club in South Carolina in spots. Just a strange routing. Just a very strange round of golf.
Multiple personalities out there at Spyglass, like really hot girl personality for the first like 5 holes.
Yeah.
And then it kind of teeters on that line on the hot, crazy scale. When the quirkier, the better. Like there's some real fun, weird stuff. And then it gets kind of like just championship golf, deep bunkers, perched up greens, and just a nightmare for a lot of paying resort guests. And then there's like a really fun hole, and then it just gets back into you don't know what you're going to get every corner you turn.
How'd you play out there, Sully? I didn't even
played okay-ish. Again, just kind of repeated the same thing from Pebble. I only made 1 birdie. I missed a couple like really good birdie opportunities at Spy. I hit better approach shots at Spy and was kind of just lost with the putter. Unfortunately out there. Mav did make more bogeys out there, so I did like save a couple shots for our team with a couple pars, which he didn't make any bogeys at Pebble. But no, it was not my best effort. We had a lot of fun though, Neil. Those things are designed for you're shipping it, trying to make a ton of birdies. I hit a couple reckless shots.
Sure.
I went for it on 14 from a spot that didn't make any sense really, but I hit driver off the deck just to please TC on 11 from 265 into the wind, carrying a massive like big dip in the fairway that just had never had a shot. But we sent it out there. We had a lot of fun. Yeah,
there's some cool holes. There's just not a lot of continuity in spots, and then there's some characterless greens, and then they're like, we're just gonna redo this green, and it's different from the rest of them. It's just, I don't really get it. But anyway,
Fedora 5, I believe
that thing was in the top 50, top 100 in the world for decades. Like, what are we doing, Golf Digest? It's crazy. Anyway, Fedora 5. Last week we had P, Goddard, Siwoo, Team Rose, Ryan Gerard, and Callum Hill. This week, starting at number 6. Sorry. Starting at number 5, we have AK. AK has cracked the Fedora 5 at 5th.
Well deserved.
Well-deserved.
I would no.
You guys heard it. You guys heard it
Well-deserved on the
first
credit.
January 12th. You know that nobody's been working harder in the world than AK, and it bears itself out.
Are we sure it's hot though? Like, or is it like?
Hey, listen. We did say we can't critique TC's
Okay, you're right. You're right.
This is his chance to cook. This is not auditable. This is a play space for TC. He's got him at number 5.
And Neil, I would say from a hot perspective, he's gone from 800, or he's gone from 1,800 in the world at the end of last year to 203 after this week. So
nobody's risen more spots. You cannot argue that.
He's hot. He's hot. We have a tie for 4th. Okay, tie for 4th. We have Jackson Koiven, who won his second consecutive collegiate event, medalist in the second consecutive collegiate event this week at the Gator event down in Gainesville, and Scott Scheffler. We have a tie between those two for 4th.
He moved up. Interesting, because he wasn't in there last week.
Oh yeah,
Scotty was not in there last week. Listen, the 63 with 3 eagles, like he's fucking hot.
He's hot.
He's hot, and I think we can officially say that I think good things are on the horizon for him. Little bit of a curveball at 3. All right. I know I'm going to catch some flack for this, but that's okay. I've got Ripper GC at 3rd.
As a team?
As a team. They've won back-to-back events now. And, won their home event down in Adelaide and on a real golf course, playing good golf, big leash, great final round 65 there, bogey free. And I think Ripper GC, hats off to them. Chapeau. Okay. Next up, we've got The Weeknd, Hitsatsune. He's hot, and he's consistently hot. Neil, this is a little bit of what you were talking about. You've got the blue flame stuff over here, but you got the white coals. The Weeknd right now is the white coals.
See, that's kind of what you're exactly right. That's what I'm getting at. I like that pick, TC.
Okay, and then first we still have P. P is still the hottest player in the world. And I don't think anybody's taking that away from him. I don't think he's playing this week at the Magical Kenya Open at Cairn Golf Club.
That could hurt him in your rankings.
Yeah,
if I know your model, like I think I do, that could hurt him.
We'll see. And then on the watch list, we've got Siwoo Kim. Team Rose is still floating around, but he's been bumped down to the watch list. Tom Fleetwood, Collin Morikawa, little baby Collin. That's wild that he's only had one top 10 since the Quicken Loans. And lastly, I've got Mary Meeker, who won the amateur portion. I think she was like 9 under on her own ball on 2 rounds, and paired up with Keegan. So shout out to Mary Meeker. You keep this going, and you could be looking at a Fedora 5 spot. So
TC
gentlemen,
turned the Fedora 5 into the Fedora 9. That Ripper, geez, nobody saw that coming. Unbelievable.
You knew something was coming. Speaking of proprietary models and boards, is it time maybe to take a little look at the Beluga's big board? How did this year's effort, and for those that are somehow unfamiliar, on the Wednesday live show prior to the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, Neil goes in and tries to predict the exact leaderboard from 1 all the way down to 80 for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. And how did you do this year, Neil?
I think we improved, continuous learning. That's love a good feedback loop, but I think year 3 is our best year yet. The future is bright. Are
you leveraging AI?
No, not at all, TC. I saw you put that in the chat earlier. I didn't like that. The only thing I used AI for was to give me like the complete field list, and it left out Alex Smalley, so it didn't even really help me that much. Yeah.
Neil kept saying it was a 79-man field, and I just I couldn't let him do it. I was like, literally, how would this be 79 people?
Listen, and we'll leave that there, guys. I'll start with the lowlights. Siwoo, didn't get it done. He's still in the Fedora 5, but not.
He's on the watch list.
He was battling today to try to salvage something, but that didn't go well.
He was the ultimate example, Neil, of it kind of, especially when we do all these live shows, it kind of only matters what you do in the first couple hours on Thursday, right? And Siwoo birdied 5 of his first 5, like all 5 of his first 5.
We looked at the leaderboard and it was good stuff.
We're like, oh my god, we
was
rocked
last.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We're like, Neil rocked it. And then I looked today and he was at like 66th, and I was like, okay, maybe not. But he battled today to save you some face.
we were on 17 and we looked at the leaderboard and Siwoo Kim was in first and Brian Campbell was in last. And I was like, just shut it all down. We did it.
He wanted to take a picture next to the board like he was, at the top of it himself.
Low lights would be Siwoo. Collin is the honorary Shane Lowry award winner. I had him in the 60s and he ended up winning the tournament. Hideki, Minwoo. I had Minwoo way down the board. Nico Echevarria stunting on me and Big Tone played really well. So,
what about Sepp, Neil?
Well, Sepp wasn't that far down, TC. He was like in the 30s.
So 44th, and he finished.
44th.
Yeah, you had Collin
69th. In the moment, though.
Collin was 69th and won. Minwoo Lee was 72nd and got second, and Sepp was 44th and got second place.
Deej, you love my Minwoo call, so you guys were backing me on that one.
For sure. You know what? Regrettably, as much as I like to, call Minwoo the unstable compound, and this guy's going to get blown out to sea. Like, regrettably, hit some very flighty, proper golf shots today. He hit some really good shots.
Flighty free today.
All right, I do want to. We had some good stuff. Brian Campbell came in last, guys. That deserves T77, I believe. Him and Thor Bjornsson. Sorry, I was dogging Thor Bjornsson. You didn't like that. T78.
Bjornsson wrecked his rig today.
I called out Jonathan
Vegas
on
18
before I locked the board. I had him in like the 50s. I called it out though in the moment that I was like, that was bad. Vegas also tied for last. Adam Shank, I nailed that one. He's way down the board. Matty Schmid, Sia, Aaron Rice stinks. Denny McCarthy. TC, you didn't like me calling out Lee Harvey Oswald. He played like shit. I had Spieth
Daniel
right in
Berger
that,
did too.
like right around 25, I think, for Spieth, and I think he was 29th. So I'm flying the banner there. Jake Knapp played really well. That's a highlight. Also, Jake Knapp got Echo Star on his sleeve. That might be the most random, like the premier satellite communication company is sponsoring Jake Knapp. Like, didn't see that coming. What else do we have?
Starlink, not the premier satellite communication company.
Well, Echo Star calls himself. They have a bunch of bandwidth that they like
self-glossed,
like sold to everybody. Anyway, Sahith, couldn't trust it. Deej, we were right about that. Couldn't trust it. Who else?
I'm just these are
Joe Highsmith.
Your words, Neil, not mine. But yeah, you know what? The Sahith thing was funny. Solly, we were joking about this on that was Friday, I think, because you were hitting balls next to Sahith to warm up, and it just was a like immediate illustration of how hard it is to predict golf, because I mean Solly's like legitimately hitting it better than Sahith on the range. Sahith's hitting it all over these big wipey fades that are just, I'm just like, yo, and then he's like talking to his physio, he's like, I'm feeling something here. Like, this guy's about to get blown off the planet, man. And he goes out and he shoots like, he was like 5 under through 14 or something. I'm like, I gotta not try to predict anything.
Some good close calls with Akshay. I thought he'd play well. Lefties do well at Pebble historically. We know that. Who else? Scotty.
For the audience, that's not true.
No, it's not, but it's going to become true. I actually love Randy's take. It was rattling around in my brain this weekend. Like he predicted that Akshay is the next lefty to win Augusta last year. And I think about that a lot. I'm like, man, I talked to Joe Greiner, his caddy on the before we went out and played Solly on the putting green. We had like a 5-minute conversation, and TC, we played with Akshay at the BMW, and he was very all business, no chit chat, like, compared to like the front nine with Russell Henley. And I said to Joe, is like this a kind of a keep up and shut up bag? He's like, no, man, we're vibing so hard. Like he is really chatty, and he's like, I really like, Joe had a ton of energy. He's like, I'm really excited about this season. Like, Akshay's maturing. He works his ass off. We're both lefties. We see things the same way. He seems to trust my read, like my clubbing, and like, he's like, it's a good discussion with us. So that was, honestly, now I'm like, that was a really useful conversation. And it's all, Joe's a friend, so it's nice to hear that he's doing well. But I'd say look out for Akshay, like impressive stuff. Now, one thing I will put in the models for next year, Akshay seemed really cold today. No body fat. We need to factor that in. He had the hand warmer on. Didn't feel like he had enough layers both Saturday and Sunday. So he just seemed a little uncomfortable with the weather out there today. So just filing that away for next year for the model.
We do have just a bit of a statistical look at how you did this year, Neil. Just a smidge of one. Please forgive the AI slop of the photos in this graphic if you have it, Cody. But Looks like you got 3 of the top 10 correct.
30%, man. That's Hall of Fame number there.
Not know what any of these players look like, by the way. Your average error was 22.6 spots off. You did nail Jake Knapp in the top 3. We lost our graphic. There we go. The Sam Burns, and your biggest misses were Siwoo, Morikawa, and Victor Hovland.
Hovland, I was saving that for the end. Hovland is the honorary Doug Gim Award winner this year. I think I had him in the top 10, and he finished. Where did he finish? Way down the board.
T58.
58. So that's tough. I will say there's some guy on Twitter or X, the everything app, like Sledge or something. He always does a really good infographic, good analysis of the board. So I'll be sure to float that out there when he tells me that. Hopefully I did better than the random number generator. That's always the goal, DJ, is did we do better than the random number generator? And I think
Fingers
I did
crossed.
this year.
Yeah, and you're out there showing your work. You know, the random number generator is not doing that. So
that's right.
I think that's good. So yeah, I think people can continue to tail the Beluga's big board as an index next year.
I feel like Sam Burns is kicking himself after this week. Like he seemed like he was in prime position to put this thing away.
He's so good, TC. Like I know like he kind of gets a little bit of like are you going to close it out sort of flack on this here program, but my God, man, watching him drive it, watching him putt it, watching him control his spin, watching him flight it. I mean, he's really good. He's a very, very, very good player, and he's in kind of a class of his own, or he's in that upper crust of real golfers out there, I think.
Neil, I got you beating on a meet absolute error the random number generator by about 4 spots.
Let's go. That's improvement for sure.
And the top 10. You're hitting the top 10 at a much higher
rate. We'll wait for my guy Sledge to weigh in. I think he's kind of the he's got the sledgehammer, the final save for me.
TC, anything else from you before we let you go?
No, I'm excited to hear you guys talk about ladies Saudi and Live Adelaide. I just want to say Cleeks beat the Crushers this week. Proud of them for that. Keimer was out, and then the Fireballs are in a bad spot. They seem to be really, really struggling. The Majestics are completely hopeless. But tune in next week. I think after Riv and the Magical Kenya Open, we will get a new Fedora 5. So I'm guaranteeing one for next week.
All right. Yeah. A lot. Thank you for calling in from your vacation, my friend. Crack on and cheers. Final few notes from Pebble. I saw. Yes, obviously debuted some new win graphics this week, which was a great week for that. That was a pretty clutch ad for this week to show the depth and the variety of the winds at different heights and just how hard it was blowing and the directions and all that for a golf course that depends a lot on that. That was super additive. And I believe this was the first ever use of the double drones of getting the drone view from like behind the tee and also catching balls landing via drone. For a place with massive cliffs and just like showing the elevation change of that place from a very different view and getting the drone shot of Jacob Bridgman down there on the beach.
I was going to say, Solid, this is the final 20-25 minutes of the broadcast with the drone of Bridgman and showing a different angle of 18. Yeah. It was like, that was awesome TV. It was really, really good for like what was like just a sitting around waiting game. I was locked in that whole time. So shout out to CBS for that.
100%. Sponsor exemption notes. We got Max Homa, Tom Kim, Sahith, and Adam Scott are in this coming weekend at Genesis. Bay Hill, Horschel, Chris Kirk, and Jordan Spieth he famously did not get an exemption into Bay Hill last year, but I imagine that will be a topic of conversation here coming soon as well.
I feel like the Genesis ones are fair. I mean, Max a past
champ.
I don't know, global
Tom
superstar.
Kim's a global superstar.
Past winner, yeah. I'm just putting Sahith on. Are we sure? Are we sure? People are going to complain about Jordan Spieth getting into events. Just not saying. I'm just saying.
Hater, you were right there next to him on the range. I could have made life way harder on you.
As always, one of my favorite golfers. I wish him nothing. I hope he wins every tournament he plays. But I'm trying to call it both ways here, guys. It's a little.
Not going to fight you on that, Deej.
I'm going to time this one perfectly. No matter the forecast, live like the sun's always out with High Noon. High Noon is made with real vodka, real tequila, unlike other popular seltzer and hard tea brands, delivering a clean finish and refreshing taste. High Noon available in vodka seltzer, tequila seltzer, and non-carbonated vodka iced tea, all under 100 calories and with crisp, delicious flavors for every occasion under the sun. What are you waiting for? Text your friends, make some plans, and pick up a pack of High Noon on the way. Visit highnoonspirits.com to find High Noon near you. High Noon, sun's up. Went to my neighbor's house yesterday afternoon. The fridge was absolutely stocked with High Noons. They're having a bunch of people over there. I didn't even have to tell them. Didn't have to bring any over from my fridge. They were absolutely ready for the party. Guys, massive story in the world of golf. And I gotta admit, I just did not see this coming. I hope that's fair. I hope that's recognizable. Anthony Kim, the golfer, absolutely wiped the fucking floor with Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau down at Live Adelaide. He was 5 back of both of them. Heading into the final round, shot a final round 63. He won by 3 over Rahm and won by 6 over Bryson. It is, of course, his first win since the 2010 Shell Houston Open. Again, just to emphasize how unlikely this win was. The odds I saw on the Everything app floating around were that it was 525 to 1 pre-tournament for this event. And I believe I saw this 220 or 200 to 1 prior to the final round, playing in the final group with Bryson and Rahm. I mean, there's just I don't know where to start with this. Like, this is, he played, I believe, 2 entire years of golf without gaining shots on the field, like without a single event above neutral strokes gain until he finished T5 at the PIF Saudi. Then, of course, he qualified for the final spot on Live through the promotion series this year. Had a good week last week in Riyadh and just absolutely stunned everyone with this. I don't really honestly know where to start with this because my mind is in a complete pretzel on this one.
I can start. I watched a ton of this last night. I'm still out here on the West Coast watching in the Pacific time zone, and it was on right as I was going to bed, and I stayed up for the whole thing because it was fucking awesome. It was awesome. The crowds were awesome. The golf course was awesome. AK made every single putt he looked at. He's fist pumping his brains out. Like on like the 14th hole, I mean, he's running around the greens, fist pumping. It was very, very, very sick to watch. And he's doing it in a 72 hole event on a firm golf course against Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau. And it was surreal, like extremely surreal to watch. And I think, lots of noise, obviously, with the live golf of it all. But I think if anybody has listened to this podcast for the last, how long have we been doing this podcast? 10 years, 12 years? Like, there shouldn't be any confusion on where we kind of stand on AK, because I think he was a seminal figure in all of our golf upbringings, right? And our most formative years of watching golf. And man, all those feelings are still in there and came flooding back in a big way as this dude who has been through all kinds of personal stuff. We never thought we'd actually see him on a golf course again, is showing up and doing that against like 2 major champions. It was awesome, man. And I'm just, we can talk about kind of what it all means and what, going forward, but just to linger on the specific moment, man, it was iconic stuff, and a long-term payoff for, some bets by Liv, right? The Adelaide event has been their strongest over the last couple of years, and I think this was a manifestation of them continuing to invest in that event and making that one as good as it can be. And then also, I mean, the AK thing, I think, started as a complete publicity stunt, right? Yeah. And trying to grab notoriety and trying to grab relevance. And I can't imagine that even they thought that they would get something like this. And so for him, Tron, like we kind of had some crosstalk earlier, but like Tron was saying this, talking to some people like, yo, he's working his ass off, and he went out, he got relegated, he qualified back for the league. And I know we can talk about all of that as well, but went out, earned his spot, is working hard, and like straight up stared down 2 of the best golfers in the world over 72 holes. And it was awesome. I don't know what really that's kind of my big takeaway from it. It was incredible.
Yeah, I saw some highlights, Deej, and shout out to Adelaide. I mean, look like an electric environment. So for this to the stars aligned here, like if this happens in Riyadh, I don't know if it has as much juice as like just the
Totally.
the energy of being in Australia. And it's just inspirational when not a lot of times this in professional sports or just life as you get older, when like effort gets rewarded like that, you know, like when you're younger, effort gets rewarded and like you get to, you know, it gets you to a scholarship or whatever. But at this stage, it's like, yeah, AK didn't play golf for what, 10, 12 years. And it's like, a lot of times you'd be like, yeah, you work as hard as you want, brother, but it ain't going to happen. Like to just will yourself into birding. I mean, birding 5 of the last 7 holes. It's like just true self-belief and grinding his ass off the last year. Like he was shooting 80 last year on these, in these events. Like it's crazy.
Imagine how many balls John Rahm hit in that 10 to 12 year period to like get incredibly good at golf and start the day with a 5-shot lead over this dude. And just to get run down on the final day, like in front of a shitload of people too. It's not like you said, it's not like
awesome.
Leon,
like he's been like, you know, we had we made shirts, legends never die. Like, you know, where did AK go? We don't know. Like, you know, he's struggling with a bunch of stuff. And it's like, I mean, my concern with AK coming back was like, oh, they're going to parade him out like a gimmick, Deej, like a publicity stunt. It's like, oh, that's not really what, but then for this to work out and him to just go out and win is like, I mean, worth all of it. It's awesome. I got nothing else to say, but it's like a storybook. I don't want to say ending because it's not over, but just a storybook narrative here. Like you just don't see somebody just willing themselves back into being a competitive force. It's unbelievable. And it's just like a dub is a dub, man. What a dub. Unbelievable.
I think back to Josh Hamilton, the baseball player that was a former #1 overall draft pick, had massive off-field problems, substance abuse problems, and like was drafted in the Rule 5 draft by the Reds, came, you know, was an extreme long shot to make the roster. Like, let's see if this, you know, guy has anything left. Ends up becoming an MVP in Major League Baseball. Like extremely unlikely story of overcoming some major personal obstacles to achieve something back sporting field. And man, it's again just so incredibly unlikely. I can't believe it. I'm the most happy that he seems happy in his life, and I don't know him at all, and I have no reason to root for him, but I am weirdly invested in like him, you know, not, you know, being sober and celebrating his so like if you just look at him, like you could see the wear and tear that his problems have had on him, right? And again, just to come back out and beat those 2 guys playing with them. It is like, I kind of rolled my eyes when I woke up and saw a lot of tweets, like saying you would, you know, the movie script, you know, you would get turned down because it isn't believable. But I'm kind of like, man, that is kind of like a movie. I mean, we can laugh. I putting the live golf stuff aside for a second, I don't think this changes the live golf conversation at all. Again, I'm just celebrating like this moment of this dude overcoming all of this to go back and win on the golf course is, congrats to him, man. I could not imagine a better story coming out of live golf.
And then, well, and just to talk.
Not only that,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Not only that, Solly, but the, you know, I feel like the PGA Tour equivalent of this that we have kind of that even saying PGA Tour equivalent of this is like very reductive to how fucking incredible this story is. But we've talked a lot about Justin Rose, right? And like, oh man, he's just later in his career, he's just continued to grind and grind and grind. Yeah, imagine if Justin Rose just disappeared for 12 years. Like how unlikely that would be. It's just, you can't it's impossible to explain, man. And it's kind of the thing that, you know, again, I said this earlier, but you go back on golf Twitter 10 years ago when everybody's talking about, you know, Anthony Kim like he's some sort of Yeti, you know, that's hiding in the wilderness somewhere. I don't think any of us would have believed this story, but like this is kind of the moment that all of us were hoping for. Right? It's like, what if he comes back and he's still that same dude that, you know, made 11 birdies at the Masters or whatever it was back then
in 2009. Yeah.
And it's just so rare, even setting all of that aside, which is a huge pile of stuff to set aside because it's incredible to believe. There's also like tour players and, you know, the best golfers in the world are so good now at like keeping their composure and not like Scotty shot 63 today. And I was standing next to him on so many tee boxes and he looked like he was playing a pro-am. He's just kind of like he's yucking it up with Ted, and he's talking to Max McGreevy, and he's just kind of not too high, not too low. Like Anthony Kim is laying everything he has out there on every single putt he makes. Like you just don't ever get to see that either. And so it was kind of like his outward emotions very much matched, I think, how everybody was feeling watching this. Like you almost saw him be like, I can't fucking believe this is working. Like, oh my God. Like, I can't believe that I'm in this position again. This is incredible. And it just made for really good TV, man. I don't know what else to say other than that. It was great.
Man, we do need some more emotive characters on the PGA Tour. Or just all these guys playing together. I don't know. Like but I mean, so just for a second, Rahm shoots 1 under today or yesterday, Bryson 2 over, and then Hatton was T3. I mean, he went toe to toe with all, like, those are the 3 dudes over there on Live, and he just like ran away with it. Wasn't even close.
Yeah. That's it too. That's a celebration of that style of play of Sandbelt golf that like just adds, I mean, again, the kind of, I don't want this to come off the wrong way in terms of like we're celebrating this accomplishment, but like the other side of this look for AK is like statistically it's still going to be very hard for him to compete on a lot of different golf courses. Like his average driving distance is like significantly lower than the average tour pro, like close to Aaron Rye levels without any kind of sort of accuracy. At least it has been, right? We could be entering an entirely new era where with a new golf swing and the work that he's been putting in that it includes more speed, but like a style of, like, again, to do it like the kind of 1 week that's going to set up the best for you with firmness everywhere and kind of an more open style of play in front of all those people and have that be clearly Liv's best event is just what made this thing like just super unbelievable thing happen on top of it happening here, on top of it being in front of all those people, was just like, I don't know what kind of comeback story would be next, I guess, unless he goes and does it at a major championship, which again seems quite unlikely. Saw a lot of stuff out there about him. He should get a Masters invite now. I do believe that to be extremely unlikely. A lot of hyperbole happened on the Everything app over the last 24 hours, but it again doesn't take away from just the ridiculousness of this entire situation.
Well, I would say though, I am glad that he earned his way back on to Live because he did in some ways, a couple years ago or last year get to skip the line a little bit. And that's when like the ability to just kind of like bring someone in for star power worked out for a really, really good story. But you could also argue if you wanted to be like pessimistic, is like, oh, well, if he was trying to do this within the PGA Tour system, it's like, I don't know if he he probably doesn't make out of Q school, right? Because of all the things you're saying, Solly. Yeah. Like the stars just would never even come close to aligning in this way. So there's just a lot to unpack here. That's all I guess is what I'm getting at. It's like, it's great, man. It's great to talk about.
Yeah. And I think for Live, like as a league, I mean, I think there's so much, there's just so much golf but louder talk that is so easy to roll your eyes at and so just so easy to kind of ignore as like bluster or weird posturing. I'm like, no, this is the first one that I've been like, man, that's like a very legitimate moment for the league. Again, I don't know if it's not like you can recapture this and do it again, or outside of AK going and winning 5 times and getting into the top 50 in the world and getting a bunch of major exemptions, like I don't know how you kind of like draft off of this. I don't know that necessarily Scotty and JT and Collin are going to be like, wow, if AK can do it, then maybe I should join Live Golf. I don't think it's that necessarily, but I think it's the first moment that I'm like, no, that's 100% real juice.
You added something to the golf world. Like this was
totally,
it's like so much of it has been divisive and taking stuff off the table and unnecessary splits. And but I've said this every year, I think, after Live Adelaide. It's like you zoom in on like that event and you're like, of course this is a great event. Like I'm not going to nitpick this one. Like I'm so stoked for the people of Adelaide and Australia that they get their event. They found the Saudi sugar daddy to fund it. Like the problem they've always had is being able to fund that event or whatever major event that they will obviously love to have. like zoom in on that micro, like all of that makes sense. Do I think it was like worth tearing the golf world apart just for like this annual event? No, I don't personally, but people of Australia may feel entirely different. And obviously there are fans of this league that do feel that it was all worth it. This doesn't change my opinion on that, but it doesn't mean you can't look at this and be like, this was a added positive element to the golf world, which I think Liv is short on, but like this definitely clears the bar.
Deej, Solly's hitting Liv with one of the Phil Mickelson.
I see you play. I see you play.
Pick that one up. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's great. Well played.
Other thing I was going to add, Solly, is Brian Rolap, team at PJ Tour Enterprises. If everything's on the table, man, we got to mic up caddies. Like this is just such a no-brainer. Watching the coverage yesterday, as you can hear every word AK's caddy is saying to him before he hits a shot, why they're laying up, where they're aiming, what they're worried about. I'm like, it was so additive, man. And there are some things that the tour very much needs to continue to push the envelope on. If a lot of this Phil was right, this never would have happened without live stuff. Is to believe, to be believed. Let's maybe move some of that into the broadcast.
100% Deej, like the Facebook, Instagram model, like steal reels from Snapchat, just
100%
copy it, man, for sure. A good thought exercise though is if you go back 10 years and like, I mean, I don't know what we at 5 billion, 8 billion that we've put into live. I don't know the number, but if you were like, yo, check it out, like AK is going to come back and win like in an awesome way, like down in Australia. You kind of like, might think like, maybe that is worth
not my money.
Maybe we could look back if it blows up, live like cease to exist in the next 10 years. It's like, yeah, but remember that AK thing? Maybe it was worth it. That was really cool.
It does make me like genuinely curious to see how he follows this up in terms of like the next. I do not have a habit of checking live scores. Like there's almost nothing that can happen there that like honestly intrigues me. But like, I'm curious if he keeps this up. I think I'll be checking Thursday, Friday scores at their next event to like see, all right, what is it? How is this a real sustained thing that we're getting from AK? Like that would be like equally massive story. I mean, this is an incredible one. Is this a one-off event? I don't know. It's hard to say. I would, if I were to predict, I would say like, I would not expect a rise into the top 100 from Anthony Kim, but I was very wrong about all this from the jump. I said it was manipulative of live, and I was not a fan of the move to bring in AK from the jump because it just felt exploitive and it felt, I don't know, everything about it felt off. But now we're sitting here kind of celebrating this guy's return to a glory in some way. And it's hand up. I was definitely wrong about how that one worked out for AK. So
I'll also say as a noted live hater that I am, very funny to see Rom finish second every week. He just can't win. It's very funny. It's very funny. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, but that was another just kind of kick in the nuts to him as he just, a little bit of a Scotty, like man, it's getting frustrating. I'm doing all the right stuff. I don't know why I'm not playing well today. I don't know why
I thought I was supposed to be the star boy over here.
Yeah. Just very, very funny stuff.
Yeah, it is hard to just go. The next two events are live Hong Kong and live Singapore, which will be middle of the night and here in the US, and no fan atmospheres if they're anything like they have been in the prior years. Like if your tour was like this, it would be such a different conversation. I really do think it would if you had a lot more Adelaides. If you're only going to have 14 events, they kind of all need to be Adelaides for your tour to be, to get the respect that you so seriously demand, in my opinion. Cody?
Yeah, I just want a couple other things from the week to point out here. AK almost didn't even show up there, didn't have a visa, and actually to go work in Australia for the week. It came late. I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday when he actually was able to fly into Australia, but kind of a wild, holy cow, it's weird how he got here moment. And he signed with the team. DJ, you're making the joke about maybe the greatest manager ever. DJ just pulling the strings here and putting the four aces back together.
Yeah, Dustin Johnson trying to recreate P in the aggregate. I think on the four aces. Trying to trying to get a good money ball value pick out of AK. A little bit of a Scott Hatterberg situation with Anthony Kim, you know.
The Aces came in third this week. Legion 23 in second. The Rippers, as TC noted, came in first.
Rahm did have one of the most infuriating TIOs. I believe it was on the 18th hole. It was his last hole. I assume it was his 18th hole or the 18th hole at
Yes.
in round 3. He blew it 70 yards left into a wrong fairway with a big grandstand around it, and just got to drop like 75 yards out and then hold the shot, which was
He made it
the worst.
I mean, he did the
Hate
same thing in the final round too. He just didn't hold the shot.
He did.
It was
Hate it.
so bad. Oh, Cody, anything happened on the ladies European tour this week?
Yeah, we ended a day earlier, but back in PIF world, the ladies, or excuse me, the Saudi Ladies International, Charley Hull won over Aki Iwe and Cassandra Alexander. Charley was on fire. All right, shot a final round 65, 2 bogeys. She was sitting way back over EY as she made the turn, and then just went on an incredible run. Birdie, eagle, birdie, par, birdie to win. Chased everyone down. Charley had a couple good quotes at the end. She said, well, after 9 holes, I ran into the toilet and got some mashed potatoes. So I don't know whether that would give me like a little bit of power for the back 9 or what, but very interesting. Still not smoking though, Neil. I'm monitoring that for you strictly on the Zins. So with her $750K win that she got, she's like, sweet, I'm going to pay off my house. So she's riding high. She's also the highest ranking that she's ever been in the Rolex rankings. That moves her up to number 3 in the world. Currently sit at Gino 1, Nelly 2, Charley 3. That's also the highest ranking that an English woman's ever been, which is kind of crazy to think about. And Charley's there. So it's a lot of stuff going on at the old Riyadh Golf Club. Allison Lee was Little American. Big story there. Just golf clubs got stuck in Amsterdam. I don't know what airline she was trying to fly, but ended up playing the first 2 rounds with basically a rental set. She finished T25, shot 70-68 with those rental clubs. She just borrowed them from all over the place. A driver in fairway woods from the actual golf clubs rental bags that they have for rent, and then the irons, wedges, and putter from like the GM or head pro at the club. And then, you know, by Saturday, she got her full bag back. But it's a cool story. She gave birth to a little boy last April. It's her 4 starts since coming back in the first since 2026. So we'll see what Allison does. If she's going to play more LPGA events or just continue to play on the LET. But riding pretty high. Excited for the LPGA to kick back up, too, as we go to Thailand. Gino's going to have an incredible crowd there. And again, it sucks that more people don't travel over for Legion Swing, because it would be sweet to see, you know, Gino, Nelly, and Charley battling out at some of these events.
Look out. Charley Hull, debt-free Charley Hull. Look out, dude.
Debt-free.
I got to know what the interest rate was, you know, so not all debt's bad.
I love hearing that. I'm just paying. I'm paying off my house. Get me out of debt, baby. That freed up. She's freed up.
LET's off to Australia.
Yeah, they're got a week off, and then they have a 4-week run in Australia to include the Aussie Women's Open in there. And then, as I said, Honda LPGA Thailand, Angel Yin defending there this week. And you got a couple good names up top, but notables are definitely missing there. So Gino, the headline, of course, no Nelly, no Charley, but kind of filling in the rest of the top 10 as we move through. But HSBC the following week, Asian Major, that's what they like to call it. There'll be a lot of good names there, but still no Nelly. Nelly's not traveling, not playing until we come back to America. Yep,
we're chilling. In super fun global news as well. I believe this goes in the watch this space category. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the CEO of the mega trade and logistics company DP World, resigned from his position after he was named in the documents of Jeffrey Epstein, who referred to the Dubai businessman as a, quote, close personal friend. He got pretty hard, has already been replaced as the CEO of DP World. I don't know what the effect is on the golf space. This was obviously this is not the CEO of the DP World Tour. This is just the sponsor of the DP World Tour, and he's been quickly replaced here. This was circulating pretty heavily, somewhat in golf circles, in some way. That's why I had this as a watch this space. I don't know if this, I guess if I'm searching for a downstream effect, does DP World continue to sponsor the DP World Tour? Does this leave an opening for PIF to get even closer involved with the DP World Tour? Would be like puppet strings are kind of looking potentially down the road, but I don't even think it's a guarantee that this means anything specifically for the DP World Tour, putting aside the reprehensible nature of the things that were found in those files for obviously.
I think we'll maybe keep tabs on the trap draw for more on this story as it develops.
It sounds like a trap draw.
Hey, who are you setting up there for feedback, Sully?
I figured Neil knows a lot of stuff about the world. I thought he was gonna do something with that. Like, why I got to be the one handling the Epstein files here?
I mean, it's just crazy. It's like some of these files stick on some people and they just get like, vaporized, and then others is just like, yeah, no, we'll skip right over that one. I mean, it's just I can't keep up, Solly. I can't keep up with the files. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I think confirming that you quote love the torture video is just
It's
I think
awful.
That's
what I'm saying. Like
that's going to get you.
Yes, this is how it should go with everybody. But I mean, God, just a murderer's row, pun intended, of like just. Everybody's so freaking like H in the wrong ways, man. It's awful.
On a much more fun note, Gary Player.
Yeah, where you want to go next?
You asked me to comment. That's my comment.
No,
Everybody needs to stop being so like aggressively horny and like just stop. Just stop doing it.
Just don't.
Just stop doing it.
I totally agree, Neil. Just don't.
Especially when
don't do any.
People are under 18. Just don't fucking do it. It's like, what are we? Good Lord. All right, please continue. Take me to Gary Player.
Just to be clear, Gary Player not in the Epstein files. That concludes the Epstein files related portion of tonight's program, to my knowledge. Gary Player not happy, guys, that he is unable to take his 3 grandsons out to play Augusta National. A lot of quotes. I forget who he gave these to. I apologize. Maybe I can get that here in a second. But his quote was, I've been an ambassador for Augusta for all these years, and they won't let me have one round of golf in my life with my 3 grandsons. This one's my favorite one. My grandsons are dying to know about their grandfather's episodes on that golf course, as if he has not told them everything they could possibly imagine already. They have to be out there on the golf course to hear them. All the golf courses that have hosted the Open, the U.S. Open, and the PGA would oblige, but they won't do it at Augusta. It is just the current management there. But these are the times we live in, and I accept it. But I accept it with sadness. He said, Bobby Jones was a wonderful man and a wonderful asset to a wonderful tournament, as was President Eisenhower, as was Clifford Roberts. Those 3 people, they basically made Augusta. Then Arnold, Jack, and I came along, and we fought it out every year. And then we made Augusta thanks to the coverage and publicity we generated around the Masters, whether the club likes to admit it or not. They won't admit it, but we made Augusta.
God.
Yeah,
tell you what's not going to get your grandsons out there is calling them out in public, number one. And number 2, this is classic. Like, Gary Player is one of us. He's just pissed because his club won't let him play in a 5-some, right? Because you got to have a member. And so it's like, hey, you got 3 grandsons. I mean, maybe they would have said yes if you, you got to chop it down. One of them has to sit out. I don't know. But to go public with this, I just don't think that's going to pan out well, Solly.
It is funny that they made Arnie and Jack members of Augusta, but didn't make Gary one. And he's unable to bring his 3 grandsons out. But big, like, just true, like this might be one of the highest first world problems I've ever heard of. Like, I'm not allowed to host whoever I want to at Augusta National Club. I'm not a member of, but greatly enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a little weird to trot him out as one of the honorary starters every year. But however, the same guy that would go and give all these same quotes, like, I'm going to guess maybe there's a little bit more going on behind the scenes. So hard to pick a side on this one.
I'd also probably shout out Augusta here because you got to think he's probably going to make a stink about this. And they're like, well, we're not going to let him hold us hostage. Like, we don't,
Sure.
it's like,
Don't negotiate.
yeah. We're not doing it. Sorry, man.
Yeah, the guy whose son was holding up golf balls to get sponsored during that honorary start. Yeah, we're just not going to let you do that, man. The last time you had your family out here, it didn't go well.
Didn't he also get clipped for like selling signed merchandise and everything else like that? I mean, this is a long history of player related stuff.
There is indeed a long history of that. But anything else from you guys before we move to wrap here? We have
I don't think so. Sorry, I know I'm stumbling. Just another awesome time to be on site, right? It's great to see everything that goes into pro golf. It's great to see, all the little micro moments that don't make it on TV. It was very fun. I'm glad I stayed this weekend and got to watch some G in person.
I meant to call this out earlier, but one micro moment TC and I saw when we were on the 13th hole at Spyglass. We were over in the left bunker, and Russell Henley's like in the fairway, just a little bit behind us, and him and his caddy Andy were having a decently long conversation about the club, and the wind was confusing a little bit, front pin, and we're just getting a real up close listen into all the final checklist before they get into the shot, and they're between clubs, and it just kind of depended on what the wind was going to like make up its mind and do. And like as Russ gets into the shot, he not in a bitchy or commanding way, but like as he's getting into it, he's like, all right, if this wind shifts more back into me, back me off this shot. Like commanded it to his caddy of like, as he's getting into it, like if this wind changes in the next 10 seconds, tell me and back me off. And it didn't change in Andy's estimation. And Russ hit the shot and it was perfectly pin high. Like they just nailed the calculation, but just that call to his caddy at the last second of like, back me off if this changes. I don't know. That was just a random nugget that I don't think I would have gotten if it wasn't fortunate enough to play in the event. And it's just really cool to see both him and Matt McNeely and his caddy and his brother Scout just work up close and just be super processors. I hate to like sum up the week of like, wow, PGA Tour players, these guys are good. Don't know if you guys know this, but like that was even after doing this for 10 years, like watching it up close this week was just like, holy shit. Like both of those dudes are so good at golf, like so much better than like the 80th player in the world. Like the gap between like Mav and Russ and like the 80th player in the world is massive. That was a takeaway.
Yeah.
So this week we have the Genesis Invitational on the PGA Tour, of course, the Magical Kenya Open on the DP World Tour. We have the Honda LPGA Thailand. On the No Laying Up front, we got a full podcast episode coming out this week. The guys, Neil, Deej, TC, detailed their trip to Nebraska. A lot of people I know have watched that video over on our main YouTube channel. Thank you to those that have. If you haven't, please be sure to check that one out. It's some of the best work we've ever done. If you don't mind me saying that. We'll, of course, be live next coming Sunday for the Genesis live show after that play continues. And we, of course, had a ton of content hit this past week from Pebble. Please be sure to check that out. We did a bunch of live shows from on site. Had some great pop-ins and visits. Andrew Novak was an absolute gem. What a hit that guy was. We'll need to bring him back, I think, several times a year. He was quick fan favorite there. Matt McNeely joined us. Johnson Wagner. Ricky Fowler, first ever appearance on the No Laying Up podcast, joined that Wednesday as well. And that wasn't, a little bit of preview of Pebble in there, but like that was a pretty timeless episode. And you can go back and listen to that if you happen to missed it. So we released a flying video with Matt McNeely on our YouTube channel. We also released a video with our annual bunch of questions with Jordan Spieth. We walked a couple holes at Spyglass with him. Neil got to get some bunker raking lessons from Michael Greller. That was an absolute treat. That one was. That's and a bunch more content on our social channels as well. So please be sure to check that out. Anything I missed?
No, it's Riv week though. Back at Riv, guys. It's been a while, man. So it's I'm really always love watching pro golfers at Riviera. So I'm excited for this week.
Yeah, it kind of sneaks up with this little back-to-back the way that it is this year. Weather does not look great, I don't think, for this week, which will be quite unfortunate. That's what I've heard. I haven't looked at it myself, but also my models are not TC's models, and I'm not allowed to use those in the program anymore. So I want to give a special shout out to our friends at Titleist and FootJoy, of course, to our friends at AT&T for having us out this past week, to our friends at SoFi for helping us get our money right, and our friends at High Noon for helping lubricate us here on this Sunday evening. Great spending some time with you. To Cody running the ones and twos behind the scenes as well. TC checking in from his vacation. DJ staying a couple extra days to bring us the on-site reports there from Pebble Beach. And Neil, I know it was a tough timing with bedtime tonight as well. Thanks to all of you.
Cheers.
Thanks to all of you that tuned in live or listening on the podcast. We'll see you back here next week.